hello everyone, and welcome to Are We Over? We are going to do our wrap up of all of the weekly wrestling shows this week. And with me today is the Deaf Chef and the Natural Dustin Rhodes. And we are going to start talking about Raw first. In the beginning of Raw, MVP was out in the ring and introduced Lashley, who came out with yet another band of young women, and and they were talking about Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. Drew came out, and then the New Day came out, and Kofi basically told Drew that he didn't need his help to win against Lashley, that he could have done it on his own. They kind of argue, and then Adam Pearce comes out and announces that there will be a Kofi versus Drew match not next week, that night, and the winner would face Lashley in Hell in a Cell. So then we get the Kofi and Drew match, and Drew wins, so he will be the one facing Lashley at Hell in a Cell. Did you watch this, Dustin?
Yes, I did.
So
over there snoring. Sorry.
Well, so that's better than screaming in the background, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit bored of this whole Lashley Drew McIntyre thing. So
exactly.
Hopefully,
I'm surprised that the Godfather hasn't come out with the new Ho train that's going on.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? I found out those are actually wrestlers.
Really? And they're just the women themselves like this?
I don't know. What they said is some of them are like in the lower level tier, not NXT, but the Performance Center.
Okay.
Some of them are like wrestlers, and then I think there was a couple like mixed martial art girls, but I was like, really? So maybe they're like, if I'm gonna be on TV, okay, you know?
Yeah, I'm tired of this whole thing. So hopefully after Hell in a Cell, this whole thing will be over, and
I just want to see Brock Lesnar come back, beat Lashley, you know.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But even it stinks because Lesnar's already said he don't want a title. So
well, I don't think it's right. I mean, he had already the title where he was kind of the part-timer and didn't defend it except for on, major shows or pay-per-views. So I don't want to see that happen again either. So, and I wouldn't want them to, fight and have Lashley win either. So I'd rather just not have that match, I guess. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross had a beat the clock match, and
I know Jimmy's missing it. His girl Nikki Cross was on.
I know, and I do not understand why they did this at all, because Rhea Ripley just kind of, I guess, forgot that there was a time limit, and because she did not beat Nikki in the 2 minutes, Nikki was declared the winner. And I just don't understand why, after they had built up Rhea being the champion and everything, that they had a stupid match like this and that Nikki Cross beat Rhea. Like, does that make any sense?
It don't,
but it's always the way it is when there's not a title on the line. They always lose when there's no title on the line.
It just doesn't do anything for the story. And I mean, unless Nikki is now going to have some kind of, thing going on with Rhea Ripley, but I don't know, because she hasn't been on.
I still think she's Lily.
Yeah.
If you looked at her pants, it kind of looked like she had,
Yeah, there's rumors that she may come out as being Lily, so we'll have to see. I saw a video where they were naming off different people who could be end up being Lily, and so maybe Nikki Cross will be, I don't know. Charlotte Flair and Asuka had a match. It was a great match. You know, these ladies are pretty good together. And Charlotte Flair ended up winning this match. There's not really a whole lot to say about that.
Oh, I was surprised they had 2 back-to-back women matches.
Yeah,
but I was also
yes, that is noteworthy that they had.
I was also
had 3 matches.
Yeah.
Women's matches on this episode. So
I was also glad to see other women getting a chance besides the same people over and over that we've seen.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. The repeat shows that we keep getting over and over.
Over and over. It's like, really, guys?
Yeah. So then we get Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, and after they're both in the ring, Cedric kind of goes off on Shelton, saying that he's the reason why they got kicked out of the Hurt Business. He says he was in his prime. He's in his prime while Shelton is kind of washed up, and
that's good stuff.
They have the match, and Cedric Alexander won.
I think Shelton, he could do so much better. He's such a great wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
You know,
I don't know.
Being held down.
I don't know why. It seems like they could have stayed with the Hurt Business and had a lot more going on for a while. So I don't know why they separated them, and I don't understand what they're doing. But anyway, Matt Riddle and Xavier Woods had a singles match against each other, and it was probably the best match of the night.
I caught the highlights of it. I didn't get to see the match, but what I watched,
and
was
the
pretty
best
dang
part,
phenomenal.
the very best part was that Riddle hit an RKO out of nowhere and pinned Woods at the end. So it's kind of, Randy Orton wasn't there, but it just may be a little foreshadowing that Riddle's kind of going over to the dark side and really joining.
You're gonna be seeing those snakeskin tights soon.
Let's hope so. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Next we had
we'll say RK and then bro on his butt. That'd be great.
Next we had Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus, and I don't understand.
It was Styles versus Riker.
Oh, Styles versus Riker. You're right. I forgot about that one. And that one, I don't know. I don't know why they're giving so much attention to Riker. We've kind of talked about this before.
I wonder if they're building something up to Elias and Riker versus Amos and AJ for the tag titles.
Well,
probably.
I guess so, but I just don't get it. So
I think they're wasting AJ Styles right now. Personally, they're just not using AJ right, unless this is what he wants, is to help other people out, and just kind of fade off into the sunset at some point. But I
was talking to my wife about that. That big boy can move for his size. Almost, oh my Lord. He moves like Braun Strowman. I mean, he chased Elias down the ramp, and I mean, he was on Elias's, but it's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why I forgot about that match, because I really didn't care about it that much.
It wasn't even a match worth talking about.
Yeah. So Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus, another match not really worth talking about. I just don't understand how many times we're gonna see this same match and Sheamus beat Humberto Carrillo again. I don't know how many times this is, but I think it's at least 3. The only that was different was that after the match, Ricochet came out and kind of joined forces with Carrillo, and the two of them did their kind of high flying stuff and ganged up on Sheamus. And Sheamus, left the ring, and I guess
maybe a 3-way title, maybe a 3-way match for the title.
Or a handicap match or something.
Yeah.
Sheamus keeps beating them. So, why? He's beat both of them multiple times. So, I just don't get it.
Well, he needs to defend the title one of these times for real.
Yeah.
And either lose it or go over clean and win. Because it's like he's running from putting it on the line, but he's still beating everybody. So it really doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we ended with a tag team championship match with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Tamina and Natalia. Before the match, Reggie was backstage, and Shayna basically warned Reggie that he needed to stay in the back and not come out to the ring.
Did you see Lily up in the background?
Yeah, there was and this was kind of on some of the social media stuff too, that it was pointed out that, Lily was in the background there. But
sitting on a little shelf or something?
Well,
like an elf on a shelf?
It looked like a fan type thing.
Huh,
and she was up in the top, hiding behind something, but yeah, you had to really look to see her.
Yeah.
In one of the TVs in the Thunderdome?
No,
I gotta go back and see this.
It was in the back. It was in the back.
Okay.
During their segment, it looked like a little air duct vent type thing.
Oh.
And she was sitting on top of it, watching them.
So anyway,
that's great.
They have the match, and of course, Reggie has to come out near the end of the match, even though he was warned not to, and he distracts Shayna. She yells at him to go back to the back, and as he is heading up the ramp, huge flames shoot out at the top of the ramp, and once again, Reggie is blinded, and he back kind of down the ramp. So Shayna gets pinned by Natalia. Then Shayna goes to check on Reggie. And then after she, I guess, figures out that he's okay, she calls him a son of a bee and tells him that she's tired of him interfering and that next week they are going to have it out in the ring. So I don't know. That's the way
Baszler gets to whoop Reginald's ass. This will be funny.
And Lily's gonna interfere.
I guess so. That was Raw. NXT.
Not a lot of promos.
Yeah. NXT, we had really what we're just going to talk about is the main event with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. So
great match.
It was a great match.
It was a very good match. And it ended up that Karrion Kross won the match, and there's been just a lot of speculation now about Finn Balor and what's going to happen with him now that, Karrion Kross beat him. Is he going to stay in NXT? Is he going to go maybe back to the main roster? What's going to happen?
What's weird is I looked up contracts for wrestlers because I wanted to see how long Finn Balor had. His contract's nowhere to be found.
Oh, really?
So I'm wondering if his contract's coming up or if he's going to go up to the main roster or if he's thinking about maybe leaving also.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of followed him on social media, and I don't know, since he got married, actually since he got, with his now wife, he seems to just not, I guess he seems more interested in traveling and doing other things. And so I don't know why, he would want to go back to the main roster, because I think that him going to NXT was part of that whole thing of him just really not wanting to be tied to the hectic schedule.
Well, I kind of wonder with him being called the Prince again, if that's a little foreshadowing towards him maybe going back to his old persona and going to Japan for a while or something, bringing Prince Devitt back, joining back up with the Bullet Club. I mean, or did WWE now own the name Prince too, so he can never be Prince Devitt again? Like,
I think Balor actually copyrighted that from when he was in New Japan.
Okay.
He's probably like, hey, this is my name.
Because you saw it when the Good Brothers started using the Good Brothers again right before they left. That was like, hey, we're leaving. This is what we're going to be called when we're gone. Maybe he's kind of doing the same thing,
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I would rather see him go elsewhere because, yes, he did good in WWE, but him getting hurt and only having one title run,
right?
That wasn't right. He should have had a longer title run with the championship.
Really, it would have been interesting to see where Finn Balor would be now had he not had that injury, because that really kind of set him back and took him out of like the main picture, where it seemed like they were gonna, just give him a huge push, and so that would be really interesting.
But you know who I want to see? What would be awesome is Karrion Kross losing the title and showing up on Raw the next week and challenging Lashley. That would be a good fight.
Those two are both Raw.
Yeah, I mean that probably could.
Yeah.
I mean, Karrion Kross is on a whole new level. Him and his girlfriend / valet. I mean, those guys bring some good heat to themselves.
It was very entertaining too. I like the way they come into the ring. It was that was the first time I'd seen him, and I was impressed. So
yeah, I seen him. He used to be on Impact, and yeah, he was a beast then too. But yeah, he's pretty big.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have AEW Dynamite until Friday. So we had Smackdown, and then we had AEW Dynamite both on Friday. So it was 4 hours straight of wrestling.
A long night when I had to be up at 4 a.m. on Saturday.
That's what fast forwarding is.
So yeah, Def Chef didn't get to watch a whole lot of SmackDown, but at the beginning of SmackDown, the Usos were preparing to take on the Street Profits, and Roman Reigns kind of asked Jimmy what the end game was and like why they were doing what they were doing, and he told Roman Reigns that it was because he wanted them all to have gold and to unite the family. Jimmy walked away, and then Jay told Roman that he wanted him to know that even though he was with Jimmy tonight, that he's still with Reigns. And then Reigns tells Jay that he needs to tell that to Jimmy too. And then Jay walks away. And then we had the Usos versus the Street Profits match. And
wow,
what a great match.
Talk about
great match.
I mean, you know why the Usos have been tag team of the year a couple times, and I mean, they're just so good. This is the match everybody's been wanting to see. It's just them versus anyone for over a year now. We finally got it with a really good tag team, too. I mean, I love the Street Profits. I think they're freaking phenomenal. And, man, it was just flying and kicking and stomping and what looked like a lot of pain. It was a great match.
It was.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised Roman didn't come out and, I thought he would have came out and told Jay, "Let's go." And
I kind of thought the Street Profits would win, and it would cause more rift between the brothers and Roman. I didn't, they needed the win, but I kind of thought maybe they wouldn't, and that would be like a Roman backstage going, see, you should have stayed with me or something. But
yeah,
they did what they did.
Well, I thought it was great to see the Usos back together in tag team action. They are probably my favorite tag team on WWE, and I missed them, so it was great to see them back together. We had a match with Natalya and Tamina versus the Riot Squad. This match was just kind of a big mess. Like, it wasn't a good match. Natalya and Tamina won the match, but it was just
I was just glad it wasn't Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
Right. Yeah. We honestly were like, oh God, is it going to be another repeat of last night? It wasn't.
That was a good thing about this match. Backstage, we had the Usos talking to Adam Pearce, and Jimmy asked for a tag team title match, and Adam Pearce told him that he will give it to them next week. So Jimmy was very excited, and he walked away, and Jay was just there kind of looking apprehensive about things. Yep. So we had a women's match with Bianca Belair versus Carmella. It was a non-title match. Bailey interrupted the commentators and kind of did her
most annoying voice ever.
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna suck that I'm saying this, but she's actually kind of growing on me again. God, I don't know why. Something about just that segment, I was kind of laughing and liking it. I don't know why. She said something that made me crack up, and I can't remember what it was though. But
it's
I don't want her to grow on me, and she is.
It's just funny how she dogs on Michael Cole like nonstop.
Yes, that's probably why I like it.
Yeah, she was doing that, and then Belair won, and after she won, Bailey kind of stood up on the announcer's desk and just started laughing at Bianca, and that's how that segment ended. There was a promo by Seth Rollins, and I said this before, and I will say it again. I love crazy Seth Rollins with his
crazy Jimmy when we need him. What is with the suit?
Yeah, with his suits. He had another like colorful suit on, and he was talking about Cesaro and kind of.
Is it just me, or does he look like he was the bad guy caught in a bank robbery? Just boom, the paint cans went off, and
I don't know, but he said it was his birthday and sang happy birthday to himself, and just was like,
that was great.
Making himself look crazier and crazier every week. So we had a match with Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews. It was a non-title match, and it ended in a DQ because of Aziz interfering once again. So yeah, that's how that match.
And he asked for a title match and got it with no Aziz allowed. So
that is true. So
do you think he's gonna win or not? Probably not.
No,
probably not. I mean,
maybe Zayn interferes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel for Kevin Owens. I really like him, and I don't know what they're not really doing anything with him. So just kind of throwing him into different things.
But he's so good, and maybe that's why. Maybe they're using him to help get those guys over. I mean,
maybe
he could sell anything, and he's so damn good that like maybe Aziz and Cruz need that, like to beat someone like him.
I know he had a sit down interview with somebody, and he was talking about how he don't need the Intercontinental title. He's just there to help others. he's like, I don't really care if I have it. He's like, it's just a title, yeah, I respect it, but he's like, I don't need it.
Has he ever had it?
Yeah, he's held
okay.
it.
Yeah, he did.
Has he ever had a tag team championship?
I thought him and Chris Jericho did.
I mean, Chris Jericho.
Okay. Well, he's one of those guys going for the Grand Slam championship too, then.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah.
We had a segment with Roman Reigns talking to Jay about the tag team match that was scheduled for next week. And this was interesting. Reigns kind of tells him that he doesn't want to see him, be the opening match, that he is now main event Jay Uso, and that he does
opening matches are the best.
And he also doesn't want Jay to go back to being which one is he. So he was kind of, degrading Jay a little bit, getting in his head. Next, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Chad Gable with Rick Boogs there playing Shinsuke's song, his entrance song again. This wasn't, nothing really to talk about.
Squash match.
Yeah, just
I don't get what they're doing right here. Like, I really just don't even understand it.
I don't know. Shinsuke's getting a little push now, so
I have him. I had, when Baron come out and stole the crown back, and then Boogs hit him from behind. I'm like, I bet you down the road, either next week or the week after, somewhere they're gonna have a crown on the pole match or a crown hanging.
Right, or they're gonna finally announce another King of the Ring or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Something.
Yeah. We had the closing match was Rey Mysterio and Dominic versus the Dirty Dogs, and they were defending their tag team titles against them. Before the match, Rey and Dominic were talking backstage, and
something happened.
Dominic kind of walked off, and then next thing we know, Rey gets attacked from behind and gets hurt and can't compete. They don't really show who attacked him, and then we go to the ring, and the Dirty Dogs are talking about how it couldn't have been them because they were out there, in the ring. And then they start talking about how if they don't, if they're not able to defend, then they're going to forfeit, which will make them the champs. And at the same time, Dominic is backstage and tells Rey, like, the last match, Rey, defended the family and kind of went out there on his own when Dominic had gotten attacked. And now Dominic's going to go out there and rep the family. And so it's basically him against
Witch and Rolls.
Yeah, him against Ziggler and Rude. Yeah, he did pretty well. At the end of the match, Rey came out and distracted Rude, and Dominic got the roll up for the win, successfully defending the titles. So
the most devastating move in sports entertainment.
A roll up.
That's right. The roll up out of nowhere. Yeah.
So that ended, and then immediately after that, we had AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
So, and we had fans, which was...
Yes, that was awesome seeing the fans.
Lots of fans.
Yep, it was awesome seeing the fans back and really kind of seeing how people reacted to some of the stars that came out and who they were most excited to see. I would have to say that Darby Allin, Cody, and probably the Dark Order got the biggest, fan power.
Inner circle.
I mean,
inner circle with
Jericho's head couldn't have been any bigger.
Everybody's waiting.
Drink it in, man.
I have it on here. I'm like, it was awesome hearing like all the fans sing his song.
Yeah.
Instead of just the wrestlers, it was all the fans.
Yeah. So, Justin, what did we have going on in AEW?
Well, the first match was Darby Allin versus some Caesar. Never really heard of him.
Benoni, whatever. Yeah.
But it was an okay match, but I was glad to see that dude could have squashed Darby just like Miro, but they gave Darby the win over the bigger guy. And then after the match, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out and we're talking and they're like, well, get in the ring. They're like, no, I'm not fighting without money. And the team that they fought jumped them from behind, giving Sky and Page the opportunity to attack them. And after that, the Dark Order come out for the save.
Well, they tried to
break Sting's ankle
leg with a chair or ankle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dark Order came out right at the right time to defend them.
They were probably just waiting.
Yeah.
The next match you had Paul White coming out. He was the head of the weigh-ins for Ogogo and Cody. It was funny. Gogo and Paul White got a little chirpy there. Paul White told him he better shut his mouth. He don't want none. But he's like, you don't want none of this.
Tell you what, your initiation into wrestling is a good old chop slap in the chest from the Big Show. You don't want that for real.
He's like, boy, I'll knock you out right now. But
Paul White had some problems with the scale. It kind of dragged on a little bit because he was saying, he made a joke of it and said, oh, I didn't have time to get a digital scale or whatever, but
was he using an old ding scale?
Yeah.
And it was taking a long time, but
there's no way that Ogogo weighs 219.
I know. When they did that, they said that Cody was 218 and then Ogogo was 219. And when they said that too, and they showed them side by side, I'm like, there is no way
exactly
the weight. And the funny thing was then QT Marshall was like, oh, he's 1 pound bigger. That means he's gonna win. And I was like, that is so freaking ridiculous.
I gotta watch this. I have to go back and watch this.
It was a good little segment.
Well, they had we talked about in the predictions the kind of the American pride versus the UK pride, and both flags were in the background, and they kind of played that up a little bit. So both of them got their moments by coming out and standing on the ring post and getting the fan reaction. Of course,
it was funny seeing the fans trying to peek behind the flags. They're like, hey, I can't see.
Yeah,
they're moving the flags.
They did have fans, kind of behind the ring up there. And Cody, I had to laugh so hard because they stripped down for their weigh-ins, and Cody's wearing
Calvin Klein
underwear, and he's standing up there on the ring post with his Calvin Klein underwear, and I was like, oh geez. But
he's hoping for a deal.
I wonder how much Calvin Klein gave him to promote.
Maybe nothing, but maybe they will now.
I don't understand, and maybe you guys can weigh in on this. Why they do these weigh-ins in wrestling? I guess maybe
it's a joke.
Well,
because the other guy's a boxer and they wanted it to seem more legitimate.
I don't know. You've done it before without that, and I just don't understand why they.
I've only ever seen it on like the cruiserweight ones because those guys have
there was one.
They did.
Remember Ambrose and Jericho?
Didn't they do one with Orange Cassidy too?
Did they?
Or
they did one. It was I don't know who it was. I know they did one with Dean Ambrose and or Moxley and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. It was just a way to kind of promote
Maybe
them.
It's just to hype them up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's an actual boxer. So I mean it's kind of like that's what they do. The MMA fights and the boxing matches, they have to be within a certain weight. So they're just going for that look of legitimacy as a real sport, kind of, instead of entertainment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So after that, there was a awesome fight backstage between Hobbs and Christian. Hobbs attacked Christian backstage and was looking to, beat him up, and Christian come back, and it went back and forth. Hobbs could have destroyed Christian because Hobbs is just huge.
Just because you're big don't mean you can fight.
Well, hey.
Look at Bruce Lee. He's tiny. He probably would have whooped everybody's butt.
Was good.
I mean, they were throwing each other into the chain linked fence thing that was back there.
Getting hit with poles. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
The refs finally broke that up, so it's gonna be good to see those two fight this Sunday. Match 2 finally. Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. That was a good back and forth match between.
All right, I got a question for you.
It was a very, very rough match, and somehow Page got cut open after he got kicked in the head by Janela.
Do you think it was a blade job? Because I do.
I didn't see that there was no cutaway or anything.
Only somebody thought that he got busted open on the elbow. When Joey Janela did the elbow from the top, I think that's what busted him open.
Yeah, I really don't think it was, because I don't think there was enough time for that. It was a pretty quick time, and he
practiced that stuff forever.
I just don't think he was bleeding profusely, just blood dripping down his face. And I kind of felt bad for him. I was telling Def Chef about this, that he was out there just bleeding, and then Taz came out and he had to do this whole interaction with Taz while there was just blood in his hair and coming down his face, and for a moment, I felt like he looked like he was gonna pass out or something. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that he is not really hurt. And the thing is that I was trying to look for this match to let him see it, and we could not find the match on the AEW
all the other ones
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
See, the weird thing is, the way you could tell if it's a blade is if they're when they have tape on it, if their tape's loose or cut, then they blade it, because they hide. I read this, that they hide the blades in the tape.
Or the ref will give it to them.
Oh yeah, too. But if you remember the All Out, or not the All Out, the cage match with the Inner Circle, you've seen Jericho sitting there unwrapping it, because the camera guy didn't go off of him. He's sitting there unwrapping the blade and holding it in his hand.
Yeah, that was obvious that all those guys were blading during that match. That was completely obvious. I just did not feel that this was.
I don't think it was.
Okay, all right. So I just think it was usually when they do it, it's in the hairline where you can't see it, and he was bleeding from right here, and so I thought maybe I
think it was it was over here. So I don't think it was wherever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, they convinced everybody it wasn't, so they did a good job.
Yeah.
But after the match, Kim Sparkles was saying, Taz come out and ran his mouth, and then his buddy Cage came out, and Cage come in the ring, and they're talking. He's like, all right, come on, his other goons. And then Page got in his face, told him he had no balls. He couldn't beat him one-on-one, that he needed help. And Cage like told his guys to back off, and he's going to see him Sunday all alone with nobody out there. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I hope that that's the case, because I would like to see that without interference. So
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a great promo from Moxley and Kingston. They were in the graveyard or something, burying the shoes.
Burying the shoes.
The best line of the night. You're gonna laugh at this. Ned and, or what was it?
Ned, whatever, calling them the Flanders brothers.
The Flanders. There's things on a wrestling site I'm on. They have pictures of the Flander boys that dressed up as the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah,
it's hilarious.
I know, Jimmy's not here today, but he hates Kingston. But like, I love Kingston more and more all the time. Like, I love this.
He does grow on you.
Like, I feel like this whole thug thing is like totally him. It like fits in, and like with Moxley joining him, like I just feel like it's a good match. Like, I like them together. Like, I don't know what else they would be having Moxley do right now, so I feel like it's a good use of him in this whole thing. And I'm hoping that they win the tag teams and go on and do more stuff as a tag team. But I thought the best line from that was when Eddie Kingston, was talking about beating them, and he was like, hey, maybe I would be EVP. What do you think about that?
Moxley's like,
maybe
not that.
And he's
I'm
like,
good.
No, I'm good. I don't want that.
That was funny.
I thought that was the funniest thing.
But yeah, that was a good promo, and I honestly hope for a good match.
It'll be a good match. This will be one where the Young Bucks can't be too practiced.
Well, no Young Bucks on this episode. They were not anywhere to be found on this episode.
So there was a decent promo from Pac. Come out talking about how Orange Cassidy wasn't going to be a factor, and then Don Callis come on the big screen and, oh, you think I was really going to come out and be there, and blah. Omega tried to jump him from behind, but Pac read that and was beating him up until the Good Brothers come out and attacked Pac, and was beating him down until his buddies from the Death Triangle come out and made the save and ran the Good Brothers off. And then Omega was going to do the one-winged angel, and Orange Cassidy come out. And Omega was happy, thinking that he was going to sign the contract. He pulled out an envelope, gave it to Omega.
Omega sold it. He sold that.
He sold it. And he sold that pretty good. And when he opened it, it was shredded. It was all shredded, and Orange Cassidy knocked him out. And then Pac tried to jump Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy knocked him out also. All around, I think this is going to be a good three-way match. I mean, I don't know how much Orange Cassidy is going to be involved. I don't know how serious his injury is. So hopefully they let him get a few hits in, and it could be just Pac and Omega doing most of the wrestling, and Cassidy just getting a few hits back and forth and
laying on the floor.
But who knows? It should be a good match though. Next match was Jade who finally signed with somebody.
And I don't understand this at all, because for the last several weeks, all of Jade Cargill's promos have been about why she doesn't need a manager.
Yeah.
Right.
All of a sudden, now she has a manager. And I was like, this is dumb. Like, I would have much more preferred her to just come out and have this squash match against Kylan King and not have that whole thing happen. But I don't know. That was one thing that I did not understand, because
she's a beast.
Yeah, she's a tough woman.
Match 4, you seen Miro versus Martin for the TNT Championship match. Basically, it was a squash match. Martin had a little offense.
I mean, Dante Martin is the youngest one in AEW, so it was kind of cool that they gave him, the spotlight.
Shot, yeah.
You knew that, there's no way that he was going to get the title, but
no.
I mean, really, after this was a build up for Double or Nothing, because it happened after.
After the match, Jake the Snake come out with Archer, and they were sitting there talking, and Miro's like, "Oh, you don't have the balls to sick your guy on me," and all of a sudden Jake the Snake said, "Get him," and the fight was on, and it was a good fight, and Archer did a couple things to Miro, and that's when the refs come out and broke it up. So
yeah, this is going to be a good match.
It should be a dog fight. I mean, it could go either way. I could see the title changing hands, and I could see Miro retaining. I mean, I could see those two going back and forth for the title. But I mean, they built Archer up so much when he first came in, and then they didn't. He had a hell of a match with Cody, and then all of a sudden he's, he's
one too that I wish that they were doing more with, because I really like him a lot, and so I'm happy that he's getting this chance. Like, this confrontation between the two of them, like, made me excited about the match. I was glad that that happened. Like, before Lance Archer came down to the ring, like, he was just going back and forth. Caged animal, with his eyes on Miro. And then, Miro started totally just, going after Jake the Snake, saying, "Shut up, old man," and blah, 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 it was him attacking him. And so, it was, it was totally, this whole thing was just totally to build up their match.
Build it up, yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed the segment.
The next segment was that they gave Sheeta a new belt for being the longest reigning champion. It was a pretty nice belt, and it was pretty cool to see them do that. During that, Britt Baker came out, congratulated her, and said some good stuff about her. And then she's like, "Well, I'm going to destroy you at All or Nothing. And the belt's coming home with me." So to me, that's going to be that's building it up too. And it's going to be a great match between those two.
Yeah. She also said, which I thought was kind of interesting, that she was saying that she had an interview recently, and she said that she was going to be the face of the women's division, but she actually wanted to be like the face of a new era. She said it was like, there was the era of 316, and now there's going to be the era of DMD. And that's kind of how she did her little mic drop and then walked off.
Match 5, you had Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus the Dark Order. This was an excellent match. The Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson They are a great tag team. And this match went back and forth. One of my favorite parts of the match was when Evil Uno had, I can't remember if it was Paige or Sky, but he had him, and Stu Grayson was there. He's like, he did his Mortal Kombat. He's like, get over here. I just thought that was awesome, doing some Mortal Kombat on it. But it was a great match, and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky got the win, though. After the match, Darby and a bunch of Stings come out.
A bunch of Stings?
A bunch. There was like
guys with
6 or 7 of them. Nice. But Sting was like the third one from the back. So Darby pretty much held Ethan Page down, and all the Stings come in, and Scorpio Sky basically was getting rid of them until the real Sting came in, and he was hitting him, didn't phase him, and he's like, what the? And he kept hitting him. He finally took his mask off and revealed it was him, and got a little beat down on him before they escaped. So I thought that was pretty funny. But great match. The last thing of the episode was the Inner Circle. Eric Bischoff come out and introduced the Inner Circle, and they all, were talking about their accomplishments and how great has been being in the Inner Circle.
It's like they've already lost.
But it was basically a great segment between them. Awesome hearing Jericho's song being sang by the full crowd. During the promo, Pinnacle come on. It was MJF, and Warlord had Dean Malenko on the football.
I like Warlord better too.
But had him on.
They had Dean Malenko
field.
On. They had the great Malenko on there, man.
Yep.
All right.
But had him on the football field, and they're like, you don't come here now. We're gonna destroy him. And Inner Circle took off, and it was all a setup for.
I had to laugh so hard because, they took off running, okay, and who's in the best shape out of the Inner Circle, right? And they had to run from Daly's place over to, the stadium. And so you see, like Sammy Guevara take off and
Jericho hop in a golf cart.
And they did not show Jericho at all running. They just showed them. And then they go to the stadium and they start fighting. And then like several minutes later, all of a sudden Jericho appears. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, they probably put him on a golf cart and rode him over there.
I think he ran a little bit, not much, but
yeah, they showed him running just a little, but I thought it was hilarious.
But basically it was a setup. The Pinnacle attacked him from behind, and to end it, they all got pile drove. Santana and Ortiz went through a table. And then Hager, Guevara, Sammy, and Jericho all got pile drove on steel chairs. So to me, it kind of looks like they're building the Pinnacle as beasts, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did a swerve and let the Inner Circle win. And just
I kind of felt
going.
Like Dev Chef said, I kind of felt like they shouldn't have done this whole thing of like the celebration of them, because it really kind of seemed like a send-off, like, okay, they're gonna lose, so this is like their last hurrah. Like, I would have liked it better if they are gonna lose, if they would have done it at the next show after.
Maybe they're not gonna lose.
All right. Well, that was our show wrap up for the week. We will be doing another wrap up after the pay-per-view Double or Nothing on Sunday night. And so thank you for watching. And for the Deaf Chef and the Natural Dustin Rhodes, I am Kim Sparkle, and we will see you guys next time.